So I know what I'm saying here is quite controversial to some people in their eyes, because you're probably thinking, what is wanker talking about? All I'm trying to say to that person is trying to get ahead. Think about it. If you're putting all that time and effort into that club or into that person or into that sport, and you're not pursuing it as a career or something you can monetize or something that it can excel you, then have it as a hobby and have it as a side passion. I get it. But if you really want to become a success in your field and in your career, your job or your company or your empire, you're going to probably need to spend a bit more time and passion into your main craft. Right, so here's a bit of an observation from myself. This might sound a bit controversial to a few people, especially with what the country's been going through. I know football is basically starting up again, and many people are thrilled by this and having the opportunity to watch their favourite team or just see football. And this applies to other stuff as well, boxing included, and many other sports. But I find so much this kind of culture happens in football with fans. This is not me, knocking anyone or trying to slander anyone, but it's an observation that I've noticed over the years. And bearing in mind, my podcast is about success and positivity. I like to interview successful people from all walks of life. I like to share some of my setbacks and some of my successes. But more importantly, I try and kind of just feed the audience anything that I believe to be helpful and that can give you value, and also to basically help you in your life. Some of it you're going to agree with, some of it you're not. Either way, I'm just sharing the information that I believe. And my brother, it certainly fits this category. My brother is a huge fan. He's a fanatic of Chelsea Football Club. He loves football. He actually loves many sports. I wouldn't say in his life he's become a success, but what I would say, he has definitely the characteristics, attributes, and definitely the chance to become a major success. But for some reason, it hasn't clicked for him, or he doesn't apply himself. I've heard this a few times about a label that people have been given, and I'll share it with you. And if you're from London, you can probably relate to this. Someone might be labelled as a die-hard fanatic, and I want to kind of repeat that: a die-hard fanatic. I mean, very strong, powerful words, and a very strong, powerful title to be given. And these people, groups of people, maybe even the supporters, my observation is they know three things, which is they know the history to their club, they know the present, they understand it inside and out, the intricate details, and they're very highly opinionated about the future. And to be honest, their opinion has a lot of weight because they are so detailed, they're so thorough, they're so embedded in that club that what they say, you would listen to it because they've immersed themselves so much in it that you can't help but sort of admire what they're saying. The reason why I mention this, because like I said, this is not just with football. This is with rugby. This is with probably other sports around the world, team sports. It probably happens with boxing. I mean, it definitely does happen with boxing, and also UFC, etc. And I sometimes think, if you stop supporting that person, that organisation, that club, if that club suddenly stopped allowing you to attend the ground, or let's just say something happened, they're still going to move forward. And it doesn't matter whether you support them or not. And I know it sounds a bit sort of weird for me to say, and it's almost like I'm out trying to have a dig at football supporters or anyone that supports sport, because I'm a fanatic of boxing. But I think the difference is this: in that moment when I'm watching Anthony Joshua, Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, Dylan White, or whoever, and in that moment I'm excited. In that moment, I want a certain person to win. But at the end of the day, I realise one thing: regardless whether that person wins or not, that team wins or not, it's not going to change my my mission, my life mission. It's not going to change my goals. It's not going to change my vision. Yeah, I get a little bit of an outlet and a little bit of fun and a little bit of excitement for that moment, but that's where it ends. And some of the observation that I've picked up on, certainly in COVID-19 and lockdown, is, oh, football's not on, or this is not on, and therefore it's almost like that person's life has completely come to a halt, and it's almost like the world has ended. And the moment that it's been announced that it's going to be back on, it's almost like, I mean, tomorrow is Father's Day and Chelsea are playing. My brother is, you know, he's been texting me like 5 times, 6 times a day, every single day for the last week. He's got everything prepared. And I admire that he's got this outlet and this excitement for the great sport, because at the end of the day, I understand that it brings a lot of people together and it actually boosts the economy. I fully get that. But he goes all in on his emotion, and he goes, everything is invested into that club almost. And I just think sometimes if certain people, and again, I'm not perfect. I've said this countless times, and I'm not talking to the people that are making a huge amount of money out of their sport. Let's say the athletes or the business people behind it, or someone who's following a career or a journey or some kind of empire or some kind of company to do with what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the individual that wants to get ahead, but they need sometimes a verbal slap from somebody, which I've needed that verbal slap every so often, and saying, realign, your energy, realign your focus, and realign your kind of priorities. Because if you want to get ahead for you and your family, you're going to need the outlets. You're going to need things that are going to be, they're going to bring a bit of joy and fun in your life. I get that. And something which is going to be in your downtime. But let's remember, have that for a short amount of time, but use that same amount of passion, that same amount of knowledge into something that's going to really get you ahead. Because I can tell you this, whether that club or that person who is the athlete knows you're supporting them or not, it really ain't going to matter. So why is it mattering to you whether that club or that thing is happening or not, or whether they're winning or not? It's almost like life or death to some people. So I know what I'm saying here is quite controversial to some people in their eyes, because you're probably thinking, what is wanker talking about? All I'm trying to say to that person is trying to get ahead, think about it. If you're putting all that time and effort into that club or into that person or into that sport, and you're not pursuing it as a career or something you can monetize or something that it can excel you, then have it as a hobby and have it as a side passion. I get it. But if you really want to become a success in your field and in your career, your job or your company or your empire, you're going to probably need to spend a bit more time and passion into your main craft. And going off of what I said earlier, the history. Some people know the history of their club, which they support. They know the successes, they know the setbacks, they know the team, they know the owners, they know the management, and they know the individuals. They know what happened even before they were born. My brother can tell you something that happened 50 years ago. The present, they can tell you about key individuals. They can tell you about their personal lives. They can tell you about their fucking haircut. They can tell you about who they're endorsed by. They can tell you about how much money they're on every single week. And then when it comes down to their future, they have such a big opinion and an outlook on what the club should be doing and what the individual should be doing, and also the kind of contracts they're about to achieve. And you know what? I fucking admire it, because I think, fuck me, you know so much about that club or that individual or that person that you're kind of obsessed about as an athlete. And I'm pretty sure it happens in every other walk of life, but you're so 100% invested into it. I mean, I admire it so much, but why can't you do the same in something else? People will have literally no sleep, and they will watch a game. They watch many games. They watch fights back to back. I mean, I know people that stay up all night and they can watch UFC boxing in Las Vegas at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they've got so much energy. You try and tell them to do the same commitment. You say, look, you might need to work on a Saturday. It's almost like they're up in arms. They're like, what? What do you mean I've got to work on the weekend? I'm just saying, if you knew the history of your sector that you're in, if you knew that your competition, if you knew that who was the market leaders, if you knew the numbers, if you knew the key individuals behind it, and then you understood the present, you understood who is really driving the market now, what opportunities there are right now, what space you can fill, what side of it you can disrupt, and then also have a big opinion, a solid opinion, a calculated opinion about the future. That's the kind of person that I would listen to in a board room meeting or some kind of CEO or higher level manager or management. And I'd be like, fuck me, they know their stuff. I want to listen to them. I want to, be around them a bit more because they appear that they're going places. So here's what I want to say to round it up. Listen, I will go to a football game. I will go to a boxing match. I will, stay up late every so often. But I understand if I'm going to become a success, I need to have the same amount of passion, same amount of discipline, same amount of knowledge, same amount of work rate in my own craft, in my own field, if I want to get ahead. Look, if you're a person that doesn't want to get ahead and all you want to do is support a team and support a person in boxing or whatever, and that is your be all and end all, fine. Therefore you are a success. So this podcast, this episode doesn't apply to you. But there are three reasons why you're listening to my podcast. Number one, you want to have some kind of boost in energy. You want to hear about success stories. You want to hear about something which is quite valuable. You want to hear someone that I'm interviewing that you can get tips from, you can get an education from, inspiration from. The second option is you're listening to it because you kind of like my story, you kind of like me as an individual, you might even admire me. I don't know if people do, but there is a chance. And the last option, which is probably higher than the second option, you fucking hate me. You don't like me, you resent me, you hate on me, and therefore you want to listen to my content because you want to talk shit about me. And either one of those, either 1, 2 or 3 is absolutely fine with me. And I've always said that the people that are listening to me, not all of this content, not all these episodes, not everyone I'm going to interview is going to apply to your life and to your mission, to your journey. But I'm looking for that one person. I was that guy when I was younger that needed a verbal slap. Probably a physical slap every so often as well. And the reason why I've done this podcast is because I felt that there were gaps in my life where had I had someone doing this and give me a verbal slap every so often, I would have excelled far quicker and I would have made some right choices at early stages of my life. My mission hasn't changed. I am going to become a very, very successful person. Wildly successful. I'm going to have multiple different businesses. I'm going to have multiple different sectors that I'm involved with. And I believe that, nothing can deter me from that. So anyone that is on my podcast, I believe you're on the same sort of mission. And I've even had people that have reached out to me on Instagram or even face-to-face or even contacted me and said, you know what, when you said that one thing or you said that one part in that episode, I really needed to hear that. So this podcast is applying to that person. If you are finding yourself in a rut or finding yourself doing things that are incongruent to your mission or to your lifestyle, this is a verbal slap. Listen, watch the football, enjoy certain things. But if you're investing everything, all your emotion into it, and you're not doing it into your career and into your job and into your mission, into your vision, then what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Prioritize, realign, focus. And I thought I'd do this podcast because when I had my brother saying, tomorrow I'm going to get so fucked up and Chelsea going to do this and Chelsea going to do that. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm so happy you're excited. But fuck me, if you knew exactly all that history, all that present and your big opinion about the future and you applied it into something which is going to get you ahead, because I know you want a nice lifestyle. I know you like to go to nice restaurants. I know you like nice things in life. It comes down to this. It comes down to your knowledge. It comes down to your application, and it comes down to your passion and your willingness to, go that extra mile. And going back to that first phrase I used, a diehard fanatic, whether it's rain or sun, these diehard fanatics are there. Well, guess what? If you're a diehard fanatic with your career, your job, or your empire, your business, rain or sun, it doesn't matter. You're there. So I hope this gave you some value. Be happy, never content, and I'll look forward to hearing some of your comments from this.